my name is Samantha Flores. I'm going to be starting off our Lyft marketing plan presentation. In our group, we have Mikala, Jasmyne, and McDonald. I'm going to start with some key points from our executive summary. Lyft is a peer-to-peer ride-sharing service founded in 2012, valued at $15.1 billion, second to Uber. We recommend that Lyft expands their market and improves their costs and their application. We also recommend that they build campaigns to educate people about safety of self-driving cars. They should also look for ways to be more eco-friendly. Next, I'm going to discuss Lyft's situation analysis. So first off is their company analysis. Their mission is to reconnect people through transportation and bring communities together. Their already defined objectives are to reduce car accidents by 90%, to create safe and comfortable and reliable transportation, and to also meet their customers' needs. So next I'm going to go into their product analysis. Their products include their application as well as their service of transporting customers. They have 35% of the U.S. ride-sharing market, which is a fairly high amount. Their goal is to have low-price transportation and also have high quality for travel. Their company was originally called Zimride, which was founded in 2007, but it's now known as Lyft. And some of their features and benefits is that you can share the cost of transportation through ride sharing. There's guaranteed safety, and their app is pretty easy to use. So next I'm just going to read you our positioning statement that our team came up with. Our positioning statement is that for young adults and people in need of transportation, Lyft of all transportation services delivers affordable, safe, and quick access to transportation because Lyft is safe, reliable, affordable, and easy to use.
Thank you, Sam, for going over the situation analysis. Hi, my name is Kyle, and I'll be going over the SWOT analysis of Lyft, where we look into the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of the company. Some of the biggest strengths of Lyft that we identified are what are they doing well? Some things they're doing really well compared to their competitors. Uber, Curb, and Get is they're requiring extensive background checks of their drivers, which makes their customers feel safer, that their drivers are actually the people they say they are, not criminals or anything like that. And they also provide great insurance of their vehicles and make sure their drivers are well insured themselves before they start working for Lyft. Another thing Lyft is doing well is identifying the areas where they're making the most money. Identifying markets in large cities where there's continually large events where transportation is a big need for people going to the events and leaving, and going to airports, going to big sporting events, things like that. Lyft has done a good job of penetrating those markets where those things are happening and where the most demand is needed. One thing that we've identified that is a weakness of Lyft is the trend of drivers seeming to quit more than its competitors. One of its objectives is trying to keep their prices lower than competitors, and because of that, they're not able to pay their drivers as much as they could get with Uber or another competitor. So drivers leaving the company is one weakness of Lyft. Another thing that needs improvement with Lyft is the app and the overall customer service of the product in the company. In an industry where each product is essentially the same, having an interface and the actual customer service of the company is something that will make Lyft stand out. And we believe that increasing the effectiveness and usefulness of the app and also increasing the customer service level from the drivers to the customers will give Lyft a competitive advantage as it tries to gain more market share in the ride-sharing industry. Moving on to opportunities and threats. One of the biggest opportunities we've identified with Lyft is the new technologies in the auto industry. Self-driving cars are increasing in popularity, and the discussion with regulators and customers is increasing by the day. Everyone's trying to figure out how the self-driving cars are going to work and everything, but with ride-sharing, it could make everything more efficient as it would reduce human error and accidents and things like that, at least in theory. Also, electric cars can be a very important technology with ride-sharing, especially with the gaining popularity with customers with electric cars, as they're more eco-friendly, and it's kind of the cool thing in the auto industry right now. Another opportunity for Lyft is the new and expanding needs of customers. We've identified our target market as a younger generation, mostly millennials and people up to age 50. We believe this younger generation is becoming more mobile, moving into bigger cities where more transportation is needed. We've also found that 81% of millennials actually prefer ride-sharing services to the traditional taxi services. So the new needs of our target market and new demands of the population is a big opportunity for Lyft. One of the biggest threats we've identified for Lyft is the aggressiveness of the ride-sharing industry and Lyft's competitors. Uber is the number one company right now in the ride-sharing industry, and they have a massive market share. Lyft is number two. But with all these companies that are in the ride-sharing industry, not just in the U.S. but around the world, they're essentially selling the same product, basically a substitution for taxis. And when it comes to differentiating your product, it's really important to try to gain market share, gain new customers, and make more products. So the sheer aggressiveness of the industry and its competitors is a big threat for Lyft right now. Another big threat that we've identified for Lyft is government regulation in certain cities, not only in the U.S. but internationally. Uber has publicly had most of the problems complying with city regulations, such as Austin, Texas, where they wouldn't comply with having more extensive, more quality background checks done on their current and potential drivers, and that caused them to get kicked out of Austin city limits. The same thing happened in London, where they were having problems with sexual assaults with Uber drivers, and they ended up getting kicked out of city limits as well because of the problems in Uber's lack of wanting to create more extensive and quality background checks. So no problems have happened with Lyft yet, but this is something that they need to get on top of and create these background checks that are good enough for all cities where they want to penetrate the markets and gain more customers.
I'm Mikala Ashley, and I'm going to be talking about the environmental factors in our marketing plan. The first one is economic factors that affect the company and the customers. Gas prices have increased over the years, and that has made a lot of customers choose to ride with Lyft to avoid hitting their gas in their car. Unemployment rate has also decreased greatly because a lot of people are now employed with Lyft, and a lot of people use Lyft to get to their jobs. Having access to smartphones nowadays is very easy, which makes it very good for Lyft to use their app. And laws of drinking and driving are being enforced greatly, so a lot of people that go to bars or to concerts or anywhere else that alcohol might be involved often utilize Lyft in order to have a safe ride to and from their destination. Economic factors does not threaten the economy for customers to purchase Lyft's services because customers get satisfaction from the safety of Lyft and also from having reliable rides. It does, however, threaten competitors because competitors are giving similar offers as Lyft. Key political and regulatory developments currently include self-driving cars, which are now legal in Las Vegas, Boston, and Arizona. Fingerprinting drivers is also one of the major key political and regulatory developments right now. Ride-sharing, which is illegal in some states, is another one. These developments affect customers because customers won't be dealing with human drivers as much due to the self-driving cars. Customers also in states where ride-sharing is illegal won't be able to use the service, so that can have a big impact on Lyft's profit. Customers also may pay less for rides due to Lyft not using as many drivers since they're going to be using some of the self-driving cars. Fingerprinting can also cause longer wait times since less people will qualify to be a driver for Lyft. These developments also affect the industry because more consumers are going to want to ride with Lyft since they have self-driving cars, and those are technically a safer way to transport. And Lyft cannot profit where ride-sharing is illegal because Lyft won't be able to be present in those states. Technological factors that impact Lyft are electric vehicles, which are more efficient for ride-sharing. It's also easier to use Lyft most of the time than it is to rent a car or get a taxi. And technological advancements that affect customers are the app development, because 99% of the customers have a smartphone, so they have access to the app. which makes it much easier than trying to stand on the side of the road and get a taxi. And there's also going to be no human interaction really if Lyft starts to use the self-driving cars. Technological changes usually create opportunity for Lyft. The only ones that really threaten its potential are blockchains, which would eliminate the need for ride-sharing service platforms. For the social and cultural factors, current trends that are occurring are extra income to underemployed individuals. Lyft has been a great way to be an extra source of income to the drivers. It's also just an easy and affordable way for customers to get from point A to point B. Some of the demographic trends for Lyft include equality of all races, ages 18 and over, and Lyft typically right now just focuses on generations under the age of 50, but we want them to expand to all different age groups. The current attitudes towards lifestyles, organics, and the environment include a very active and working lifestyle. Usually college towns and cities with bar scenes are popular for Lyft because that's when a lot of people, again, with that drinking and driving law, use Lyft for safe transportation. It's also not doing much right now to help the environment because cars don't do a lot to help the environment, but one thing that we definitely want Lyft to work on is being more environmental friendly. Current attitudinal trends include background checks and fingerprinting being required for Lyft drivers for safety reasons. I'm now going to talk about some of the marketing objectives for Lyft. We want Lyft to market the focus on drivers being the customer's friend and creating a memorable experience in advertising. We also want to emphasize that this is a safe and affordable company and encourage the use of the easy-to-use mobile app. We also want Lyft to double their operations in U.S. suburbs and rural areas and ensure that the price is fair for all distances, long and short. Lastly, we want Lyft to use promotional sales such as rewards programs and holiday promotions.
Thanks, Mikala, for covering the marketing objectives. Now I'll be going into our marketing strategy that we have devised for Lyft. Part of our marketing strategy includes laying out different things we want to accomplish and create in order to get the word out there that Lyft is the superior ride-sharing company. One thing is creating advertisements and an ad campaign about the friendship that is created between the Lyft drivers and customers at the point of service. Like I mentioned earlier, the ride-sharing industry is very competitive and every product with every company is essentially the same. So emphasizing that our drivers are safe and they're friendly and the customer service is superior to every other company is a very important thing that we want to implement in our marketing strategy. Other campaign ads we want to run are comparing competitors' prices and safety to Lyft's own stats on those two categories, both on our website and the app. Both are great ways to advertise those two things, where we differ from companies and why we're better from other companies. One example of this is that Uber does surge pricing, where they raise prices during times of higher demand. Lyft stays away from that to create a more affordable ride-sharing product for its customers. So that's something that we want to really hit home on and really advertise with our marketing strategy. Something else that we want Lyft to implement are opportunity and reward programs for loyal customers to Lyft and new customers to Lyft. Loyal customers, they know our product, they love our product, and we want to reward them for sticking with us and not going to Uber or another ride-sharing company. And then with new customers, we want to create a way, maybe a discount program, to attract new customers. And when they hear about the rewards program after being with Lyft for a while and using so many rides within a set amount of time, they'll want to stay with us. So that also goes into the retention of new customers as well. Our marketing strategy also includes campaigns advertising Lyft's eco-friendly efforts, such as the increasing use of electric cars with its drivers. We think that with our target market, these younger people that are using ride sharing are also the ones that are putting more of an emphasis on trying to be eco-friendly, trying to help the environment. And Lyft wants to be a company that caters to those people that have those desires. We also want to conduct surveys in new markets to penetrate new markets and increase our customer base and profits. We also want to create more promotional advertisements to release each month. Within our marketing strategy is our target mix, where we want to bring in more people to our customer mix and increase our customer base. We want to target younger adults, millennials who actually prefer ride sharing to the traditional taxi system. We also want to attract people without cars who need an alternate mode of transportation. Some of these people might include the elderly and older citizens. Not all of them may be able to drive on their own, or maybe don't want to drive on their own. So having an alternative mode of transportation like ride sharing would be perfect for older people. Also, we want to target traveling businessmen who are in new cities and need modes of transportation that are fast and cheap and easy to track down. Also, students on college campuses, where maybe at colleges like Columbus, where all the bars, or colleges like Ohio State, where all the bars and all the fun things to do are in the city and not on campus. Ride-sharing transportations like Lyft are an easy way to get off campus and get away and do the things you want to do.
Thank you, Kyle, for speaking on the marketing strategy. My name is Jasmine, and I will now be speaking on the implementation plan. Looking into the implementation plan of Lyft, we created a 12-month plan to strengthen Lyft overall. We will strengthen Lyft by training our employees better. We will also build the company by improving safety and strengthening customer base. Part of the implementation plan is to hire more drivers in more markets while providing training to increase customer service and safety. After the first 6 months and campaigns have come to an end, it's time to think about the rest of the year. After our camps, we do think it's best to consult with various teams to see what we have accomplished, what needs to be improved, and also how we're going to move forward. Our last 6 months will focus on strengthening and building our drivers as well. Also, throughout the last 6 months of the campaign, we will meet to discuss the progress, find out what needs improved, and also what's working. When the holidays begin in October, we will begin different promotions throughout our app and social media platforms. This is a great time for our loyal customers to recommend Lyft to better their rewards. Lastly, as the year comes to a close, we will gather again to review the year and also discuss goals. Next, we will be looking into our evaluation and control. First, evaluation is divided into 2 metrics. First, looking at our quantitative metrics. This will allow us to specifically look at markets of concern to better analyze our implementation plan. The qualitative metrics measures the quality of our business. The evaluation of these metrics will allow us to gather feedback of the effectiveness of our implementation plan. The control of the marketing plan is to look for pros and cons of our decisions. To enhance and control the pros and eliminate the cons in the most efficient way can be the most difficult task. This is why it's important to have a reasonable and feasible implementation plan. To ensure progress is made frequently, we are specifically generating and staying within market budgets and quarterly reviews of our sales and expenses. We hope you have learned something from our marketing plan for Lyft. We believe our recommendations will help Lyft progress as a superior ride-sharing company.